The guiding principle behind the archetype system is this kind of twofold idea that a character is really a concept being expressed or being carried out or being explored. And that concept might be a backstory or a skill set or a goal or something like that, but that the character is essentially just a concept that you are exploring through the story. And the other side of that is that a lot of the conflict that comes up for characters in games and stories and to some degree the real world is this conflict between the role that the character is trying to cast for themselves and the role that fate or society or some unseen force is trying to cast them into. System uses a few different things to kind of make that happen. One of them is just that the first step in the character creation process is to come up with a concept. Another is that skills are specifically designed so that being trained in a thing gives you a significant advantage in trying to accomplish that thing over someone who's not skilled in it, who's a generalist or is relying on just kind of their base traits. So if you have a very intelligent character, that's great. That's going to do a lot for you. It's going to give you a lot of benefits. But relying solely on your intelligence when you're up against someone else who has maybe less intelligence, but actual training in the subject matter, the person who has actual training in the subject matter has much better odds of succeeding at a task and is capable of succeeding at tasks that are well beyond anything that you, no matter how intelligent you are, can reach. So the system is weighted in favor of investing in the things that really define your concept. There's also a thing called archetypes in the system, which is what the system is named after. And what these are is roles that are cast for you by the narrator, by random dice rolls or whatever, where you end up having a kind of a secret thing that's true of your character that you don't know about that is actively working for or against you depending on the actions that you're taking, whether or not the things that you're doing lead towards the role that you have been cast in or against it is going to actually affect the difficulty of the thing that you're doing. Now, this is not unheard of. In fact, where I came up with the idea was a Shakespearean game that I'm developing that is also going to use the archetype system, in which the goal is that you can just pick up the game and jump into a story, and it'll play out in a way that's very similar to a Shakespearean play. But you also see this in Tall Tales, where represented by the two. The two are these very powerful beings. It's unclear exactly what their deal is, but it seems as though they have a very set idea on what the ultimate end of this story needs to be. And most of the time when you see them in the story, it's because they're getting involved in events to push them in that direction. Although the reader and the other characters have no idea what that end goal is or why they're invested in it. You also see this in Star Wars. I saw a great video about this where Freddie Prinze Jr. was explaining that the Force isn't just like this power that's out there that they can access, but how the story is designed is that the Force ultimately decides who wins and who fails, who succeeds at this task, how this stuff plays out, because the Force has an idea in mind, not consciously, but the Force has this model that is trying to hold to and will change circumstances in order to enforce that idea of what the world is meant to be. And all of these things, all these ideas are summarized in this function of having an archetype that you are building towards and benefiting from building your character toward a specific concept and having resistance from some unknown role that you've been cast in by fate that may not align with the role that you have, the goals that you have for your character. So like I said, I'll go into a bit more detail about the system as these videos continue, also as I'm working on the book, and you can see those details being fleshed out live when I'm live streaming it, and you can catch those videos on our YouTube channel. Either way, on Twitch, on YouTube, you can search for Rabid Haberdashery, and that's going to be the channel that all this stuff is on, as well as the games that we play, like the Star Trek game and the Pathfinder game and Paleomythic, and all this other kind of stuff that we're doing, and the fundraising that we're doing for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I look forward to explaining the system in more detail to you. I hope that you're interested in it. I hope that it sounds exciting to you. And if so, please follow along and keep an eye out for more of these videos. Thank you.